Okay, so we've received an intraoral scan from one of our doctors that uses ENCODE healing abutments, and I've placed the scan on my desktop. The doctor's asked for a screw-retained crown, tooth number 9. The ENCODE healing abutment is an internal hex 563. So first thing we do, we will create a case. We've confirmed everything with the doctor and confirmed the ENCODE healing abutment decoding. We'll identify the case, be a TI base, ENCODE, number 9, tooth number 9. Now we've received an intraoral scan, so our object type under scan settings is not model, but it's digital impression. And there is no antagonist with this case. It is tooth number 9. We scroll over to the abutment, click on abutment, but we then scroll over to screw retained crown. The doctor's asked for a screw retained crown with a Express Flex TI base on top of an ENCODE healing abutment. Click on screw retained crown. Our category, of course, will be Biomet 3i. Our system will be Express Flex ENCODE abutment. And our kit, we know it's a 5.0 platform, so we scroll down, and we want a 4.75 in height TI base text. When you choose a screw retained crown, you have to choose a shade. We will do so. And we'll make sure all of our settings are correct. There is no antagonist. We also want to create a custom model to be printed. We will click Model, and we click OK. Back to the Dental Manager. This is the case we just created. Now we need to import the scan. We've set up the case, but it has no scan imported. We right-click on the case, go to Import Scan. Now I've segregated the scan to our desktop, which we have accessed. We simply scroll down until we find the correct scan. This is it. We open, and it's imported into the newly created case. Right-click on the case. You can see in the lower left, there's our scan, our intraoral scan. Click on Design. Now we're going to design a screw-retained crown on top of an Express Flex TI base. And this is an ENCODE case, so we have to decode the ENCODE as well. 3Shape is thinking. It's calculating all the information that we placed on the desktop order form. First thing it asks us to do is bite plane. And even though there's no opposing, this is important because of the model that we're going to design. Click Next. We have the opportunity to trim the upper at this point, but we won't do that until we're in Model Builder, so we'll click past this. We can also sculpt the digital scan. We have no need to do that. We'll click Next. And now it's time for the system to align the ENCODE healing abutment on our model with the library ENCODE healing abutment in our 3Shape system. Come over to the left under Scan Flag, Biomet 3i. We chose Express Flex ENCODE abutment. The kit we chose was a 5.0 by 4.75 millimeters Xed. And our scan flag, or our ENCODE healing abutment, is an EHA 563. Come to Alignment Settings and click on 3-point alignment. And now our ENCODE essentially is acting as a scan body. 1 point, we match up our points, our scanned image to our library ENCODE, and place 3 points. 3Shape system will now align the ENCODE healing abutment model with the digital scan, which it just did, but we have to confirm the alignment over on the right. We click on 2D cross-section, and we just simply draw a line through the middle of our image. And you can see in the lower right the alignment of our ENCODE healing abutment model in our system with the doctor's scan. If I drag the blue point across the occlusal of our digital scan image, you can see the occlusal surface and the lateral walls of our image aligning perfectly. But I always like to get a different perspective, so I rotate my cross-section scan and I drag the point across again just to make sure that everything is correct. And it is, it's a perfect alignment. Close our window, click Next. Now 3Shape calculating the alignment in the digital model, and we'll remove our ENCODE healing abutment to allow us to begin our design. This did, and it places the Express Flex TI base that we chose, the 4.75, perfectly aligned in the digital model. Take note, please, that you can see at this point here the anti-rotational notch on the distal of our TI base and the screw channel opening on the mesial. They are always opposite one another. Very important to take note of this. We set our insertion direction. Click Next. And a model crown appears. Now we're designing a screw-retained crown, so it's up to us to position the crown on the digital model. Utilize our 3Shape design tools. We're not freeforming our crown. We're not finishing the design of our crown, but we are positioning it adjacent to the teeth, mesial and distal, as well as over our TI base. And we want to get it 80 to 90% where we would like to have it. Certainly dimensionally too, we make it wider. Check our length, it's good. Buckle alignment, perfect. And let's take a look and see where the screw channel will come through the crown, because the doctor is going to have to access and drop a screw through the crown into the TI base, into the implant, to secure this screw-retained crown. So in this position, you can see that our screw channel is in a very difficult position. It comes right through the incisal edge of our crown. Now the screw channel is going to be filled with composite. Align our crown a little better. It's going to be filled with composite by the doctor after he seats the crown. Consequently, we can't have composite on the incisal edge of our crown, of our zirconia crown. So we are going to have to take note of that and correct that in the design. Click Next. And now we begin designing the gingival portion of our crown. First thing we do is to align our control points. Buccal, lingual, mesial, and distal. And we want to begin the shape of our crown at the gingival, which, as we can see from the adjacent teeth, is triangular. Our central, triangular in shape. So we will simply start designing the gingival portion of our crown. Remove our model. Look at it from the buccal. Lower our contour a bit. On the lingual. We want to contour this portion of our crown slightly. Now, we know, place our crown back in place, we know that our screw channel comes through our incisal edge. We have the opportunity with our Express Flex to adjust the screw channel up to 20 degrees. Remember, our anti-rotational notch is on the distal. That means our screw channel opening is now currently on the mesial. We need to change that position to position the screw channel opening on the lingual so that we can angle the screw channel opening. If we click on this icon on the left, we have the ability to click on this blue point and rotate our anti-rotational notch to the buckle, which we know tells us that our screw channel opening is now on the lingual. Placing our crown back in place and looking at where our screw channel is, we simply grab this point and we angle our screw channel to the lingual up to 20 degrees, and we can see that we've angled it 14.2 degrees. We click Next. And now it's up to us to finish the freeforming and perfect our crown that we placed using our tools in 3Shape. We can simply freeform by smoothing, adding material, removing material. Our screw channel opening perfectly placed. Back on our model. Utilizing our tools in 3Shape will allow the software to adjust our contacts. Which it just did, as you can see here on the mesial and the distal. Once again, we'll smooth up some of the surface of our crown. Back on our model, perfect crown. We click Next. We'll add a little material to the lingual. Click Next. And you can see our perfectly placed screw retained crown with the screw channel opening now placed on the lingual, completely out of sight. It's a little larger than we would want for this particular crown, so we have the ability with our Express Flex to decrease the size of the screw opening, which we'll do in 3Shape. Click Next, and you can see now the screw channel is perfectly and ideally placed in our screw retained crown. 3Shape's processing the case. And we click Next on Model Builder, because we're going to create a printed model from this digital scan. 3Shape's configuring the data. Open the Model Builder. And now gives us the opportunity, if we want, to trim up the doctor's scan, which we do. We'll click on Trim Preparation and simply mark on the model where we would like to trim up our model. Takes a few seconds. But it's important to be able to do this to save material when printing your model. confirm this is where we want it. Maybe a little higher on the label, a little portion. That looks good. Click OK, lower left. And the software now trims the model, or the digital model. We click Next. And Model Builder has placed now, determined by the information we created when we designed the crown and aligned the ENCODE healing abutment, exactly where our Zimmer Biomet digital analog is to be placed in alignment with our crown on our trimmed digital model. Click Next, OK. We've already determined the insertion direction. We click OK. And a model's created. In this case, we won't need an articulator as we have no opposing. We say none. This is the name of our case. We click OK. Appreciate processes the data. We do want to add some soft tissue to this model. Simply adjust the design planes. Click OK. Again, processing the data. Our model is almost complete. Click Next. And now we have our virtual model that can be printed. We have created our screw retain crown, which we can mill. And of course, it's all designed to fit perfectly atop an Express Flex TI base. Close the case. Explore our order. All of the model crown has all been created, and these files can be sent to the printer and the mill.